Welcome everyone. Today I have a complete Laevaitain build guide for Arknights Endfield. Looking behind me, I have prepared a lot of notes related to this new limited banner character, and we can see her stats, her best in slot 6-star weapons, 5-star alternative weapons, even 4-star free-to-play weapons. We'll go through those. We'll also go through her gears, the choices of stats, the set choices, and also the combination of how those main stats and also secondary stats will help her to have higher damage. We'll also go through a number of Laevatain teams with the character that can support her for the strongest meta damage, including free-to-play teams and also a variety of different team comps depending on the characters you have acquired. During this time, we'll go through the skill priorities and also how each of the skills will interact. We'll also go through the livestream with the demonstration and also combination of the skills together with those characters. As we keep going, we'll briefly talk about Laevaitain's potential of getting her into higher duplicates and also how impactful it is to the character and also to the game and also her performance. We'll also look into the strength and also weakness to this limited banner character, and I'll be more honest and also I'll be brutally honest to explain the strength and also weakness and also the concerns for the power creep as well. And finally, we'll go through Laevaitain's promotional materials and also how and also where to acquire all of those materials. The goal for this guide is to prepare myself for the limited banner character and also to provide you guys with all the summaries in one page, so this way you can scroll down and see everything you wanted for Laevatain. We'll be using a number of websites and also different guides and also different listings that I have found, so this will help us to understand the character a little further. Okay, now that we have the overview summary, let's come over to the limited banner character Laevatain. This character will be available at the launch of the game, and this will last for about 2.5 weeks or 17 days. During this time, a lot of players including myself will be summoning for her, and we will have the highest amount of currency to be getting her because of the launch of the game. So Laevatain is over here. She is a 6-star striker, a sword user. She's a heat or fire character. Her main stats are intelligence, her secondary stats are strength. We'll be talking about how those stats will help her to deal higher damage and the gears that will give you the highest stats for those main stats. So if we look at Laevaitain's stats from level 1 to level 90, you can see that HP goes up decently. Her attack scaling is not the highest, but she does have some good intelligence scaling and the strength is not bad. And over here, we'll be looking at Laevaitain's choices of weapon. Now, of course, usually with a limited banner character, the exclusive 6-star weapon is the strongest. And here with the Forge-Born Scath over here, this is one of her strongest weapons. Not only does this provide her with additional hit damage, after the character casts the ultimate, the character will have a basic attack increase for 75% for 20 seconds. This is designed for her because highest damage for Laevatain comes from after casting her ultimate that enhances her basic attack. But the downside for this weapon is that it won't be as good for other DPS characters, especially for hit characters. So that is the downside. But for her, this weapon is the highest scaling weapon. Now, during this time, there's a number of other weapons that we can have a look. So if you guys want to have a look at the first weapon stats, it is over here. I have screenshot those. It also provides her with increased intelligence and also attack percentage. One of the weapons that was recommended on the Arknights Endfield.gg site is the Unburst Touch. And this weapon, it is a potential, this weapon, the stats and also the grade of the weapon may change, but at the moment I believe it is still a 5-star, so it is more free-to-play friendly. This weapon also boosts intelligence while increasing attack percentage and also boosting the damage after the character have done combustion or corrosion, and this will increase the hit or natural damage for 20 seconds. So ideally, this weapon may be the best installed in terms of free-to-play 5-star weapon, but subject to change. It's possible they might have changed this weapon to a 6-star because I was looking at the sites. Some of the sites were showing this one as a 6-star, which is a little harder to get. And to follow up on this, another free-to-play friendly weapon for Laevatain is this 4-star weapon. So this 4-star weapon provides us with intelligence, attack percentage, and also when the caster casts a skill combo, they will gain attack percentage increase. And because it's a 4-star weapon, it's likely you can get to the maximum duplicate for this weapon for more free-to-play action. Now finally, it is also possible to look into some other 5-star weapons that provide Laevatain with the right main attribute, but the rest of the stats are not too good. So the Fort Mega, I wouldn't say this is the ideal free-to-play weapon, but if you happen to have this weapon, it is only transitional because it provides you with the main stats to intelligence. Now, coming over to Laevatain's gears. The choices of the set gears for Laevatain is gonna be the Hot Work set. 3-piece set of those gears will provide the character with art intensity, and when the character applies combustion, heat damage will go up for 60%. And of course she won't be applying corrosion, so that won't affect her. Now in comparison to the other set gears, most websites and also most content creators also believe that Hot Work set is the best for Laevatain just because of the massive amount of hit damage bonus, and she does apply combustion very frequently. So in terms of those choices of the gears, let's briefly have a look at the stats of those gears. Mainly we want all the pieces to have armor, of course, so ignore the armor part, but we have the strength and also intelligence. Strength and intelligence will attribute to Laevatain in this particular format. And remember, the previous weapon also attribute to strength. So for any character, if the main stat is matching, then they will be getting 1% attack bonus per 1 point of the main attribute. And if the secondary attribute is matching, they'll be getting 0.4% attack bonus per 1 secondary bonus. So ideally you want to find as much intelligence as you can, and then finding strength on the side as a side bonus. And this is the case for all the gears. Notice all the gears are intelligent based. To follow from this, the armor can also be providing Laevatain with ultimate gain efficiency. So you want to cast the ultimate as much as you can, and then the gunners can provide her with hit damage bonus. And here with the other 2 pieces, she can be getting battle skill bonus as well, which allows her to do more damage with her battle skill, especially stacking her abilities. So over here, let's briefly have a look at the choices of the team counts, then we're going to go into the character details of Laevatain with her skills and also combinations with those characters. There are currently at least 5 characters that is available that works wonderfully well for Laevatain in her top meta fire or hit team. For the free-to-play characters, this will be Wolfguard, Antel, and also Akakiri. And those characters are quite easily accessible, with 2 of them being 4-star, and Wolfguard being one of the free characters available in the game. Over here, some of the premium characters will be Adeleria. She'll become available in the game as well for a free character after the 14-day login, or if you're lucky enough to get her before that. Gabaretta is one of the much harder to find premium support, but she will massively boost Laevatain's damage as well with the corrosion effect. So, one of the free-to-play setup with Laevatain is definitely with Wolfguard, Entel, and also Akakiri. Very soon we're going to see some of the character demonstration and also skill rotation play, and you're going to see this was demonstrated in a live stream for this particular powerful free-to-play team. Other than that, we can easily run Adeleria with Laevatain, and usually Wolfguard is one of the best choice to be providing her with more hit stacks to be consumed for higher damage. We can also switch between Antel and also Akakiri, which means you have a little less SP, but Antel boosts her damage by a lot. During this time, if you happen to have Gebeta, I could not pronounce it. Gebeta. Did I say it correctly before? If you happen to have Gebeta, and then you can consider switching out of the healer. Gebeta can also heal with AoE groups of enemy, which can be very powerful. And finally, of course, you can switch between Antel and also Akakiri for higher pure damage or better SP gain and also a slight damage buff. And finally, you can see a number of choices and also combination of characters without Wolfguard. Now, because Wolfguard is quite good for Laevatain, most players and also will be using Wolfguard, but there's alternative choices if you don't plan to use Wolfguard with Antel and also Akakiri with one of the healers, or one of the damage amplifiers with Gebeta. So, coming over to Laevatain's skill rotations and also skill combinations, let's have a watch of the brief demonstration of how her skill works. Because I know a lot of you guys like me, sometimes we don't like to watch all the things, so I have found the live stream video for this part so we can watch it together, now I go through the skills with you guys.
Laevatain's basic attack has up to 5 sequences. Each hit deals heat damage. Successful finisher on an enemy deals massive heat damage and recovers skill points for faster skill casting. Her battle skill, Smoldering Fire, summons a magma fragment to attack the enemy. At maximum stacks of Melting Flame, Laevatain's battle skill deals a huge slash and applies combustion on enemies, further spiking the damage output. Making an enemy combusted or corroded triggers her combo skill, Seethe. This skill causes fire to erupt from the feet of all applicable enemies, dealing tons of AoE damage to enemies. It's great for clearing up groups of enemies. Casting the ultimate Twilight lets Laevatain summon the Sviga Laivi, making her attacks much stronger. While the ultimate is active, Laevatain can keep performing basic attacks to dominate the enemy.
So we're going to stop here for now. We're going to keep watching as the skill rotation combos. But what I want to do as summary is, now that we kind of watch and understanding the attacks, I'm going to give you guys a brief summary of the skill rotational and also what the skills are representing what. The basic attack will have performed 5 basic attack. On the finishing final attack, she can also restore some SP and also deal some massive damage. This does scale with basic attack damage, but as you're gonna see later, with her ultimate, once she casts her ultimate, she will massively boost her basic attack damage, and this is the highest damage combo. In talking about combo, Laevatain's combo allows her to gain additional Melting Flame stacks, and also this gains ultimate energy. So the combo itself is here to gain the necessary stacks and also energy for higher damage and also casting her ultimate. In terms of the higher damage skill combination, in comparison, before you cast the ultimate, Laevatain doesn't do that much damage with the actual basic attack, but she can do a lot more damage by consuming the Melting Flame stacks using the combat skill. So usually the combat skill will do higher damage than the basic attack, but once you cast your ultimate, then of course your basic attack will do a lot more damage. So in that sense, here are some recommended skill rotations, or I guess skill priorities as you upgrade the character. We can upgrade the ultimate first, and then look into upgrading the battle skill because that scales the highest, and then considering upgrading the basic attack or the combo skill as to whatever resource you have the most. So here are also some notes in recommendation for those skill combos. Now in terms of the skill combos with Laevatain, the video does demonstrate using this particular team composition. I'll briefly go through how this composition works, and let's watch the live video demonstration. Laevatain will do the highest attack by consuming heat stacks from other characters that apply to the enemy. She can also apply heat stacks. Wolfguard can apply a lot of heat stacks, and she is usually the support enabler. He can also consume combustion to increase the heat damage. Akakari can also apply heat stacks. She can also apply the small damage buff to the team, and her link ability can enable the next skill caster or next ultimate caster to do massive amount of damage. Until over here can also amplify the heat damage or electric damage of the team massively, so here he will be amplifying the team's heat damage. Now that we look at those characters, let's look at the combination for the livestream.
Once combat begins, cast Antal on Akakuri's battle skills to apply heat infliction on this large group of enemies. Right after that, let's control Laevatain to attack the enemy and absorb their heat inflictions to build up her Melting Flame stacks. We then cast Wolfguard's ultimate to apply combustion, then trigger Laevatain's combo skill to deal plenty of damage. Next, quickly reposition Laevatain and cast her battle skill at max Melting Flame stacks to deal tons of damage. Finally, cast her ultimate to greatly strengthen her basic attacks, clear out the enemies, then follow up with an enhanced battle skill for a perfect victory.
Stand down. Fully and hasted victory.
Heat consumed. Shot.
Looks pretty good. So here is the live demonstration from the live stream, and the bigger highlight over here is the Wolfguard can apply combustion as well. And just to remind us, the reason we want to apply combustion and also consume combustion is that when enemies are suffering combustion or corrosion, then she can be gaining her Melting Flame stacks and also further gain the ultimate energy per enemy hit, which is quite important to get her ultimate back up. So a small notice over here, her battle skill will cost 100 SP, while her ultimate will cost 300 energy. And this is quite important to get her skills in rotation. In that sense, you can also try to have one of the natural inflictors, similar to Adeleria or maybe Gibetta, who can inflict corrosion. If you're inflicting corrosion, then she can also use her combo because it's both combustion and also corrosion. Very powerful to run a meta fire team with the natural characters. So now that we talk about Laevatain skill rotations, let's briefly have a look what happens when you get Laevatain to higher duplicates. Now before we go into it, I would like to say that compared to most gacha games, the duplication system or the character potential system is not that crazy like Genshin Impact or Honkai Star Rail. So it's not that tempting to whale massively, but you can gain some benefits by whaling. So with the first potential, Laevatain attack multipliers increase to 1.2 times and ongoing hits return at 20 SP. So usually the first potential is the most beneficial, and you can see there are a number of changes with abilities and also increase SP, which is quite nice. After that, the second potential is just a basic stat increase, which is not that massive. The third potential with the combustion with improved duration and also status level is nice for increased damage, and the energy cost for the third duplicate or the energy cost reduction is not bad, but it's not a game changer. The biggest game changer is to extend her ultimate duration, which allows her to become like constantly having her ult, and this allows her also to have the damage multiplier to be increased by 1.2. Personally, if you're really looking for a copy of Laevatain, getting the first duplicate seems to be decent if you just happen to have her, but if you're really whaling, of course, players will aim for the final potential. But again, a lot of players are saying it is less scaling to get the potentials. It's better to save your currencies for a weapon or saving for the new characters for a more well-rounded team. Saving for Yvonne is also really good. We'll talk about that very soon. So here are some notes I just mentioned over here. Now, the reason you want to save for Yvonne and also the strength and also weakness for Laevatain, let's have a quick summary. I'll try to be brutally honest. Even though this is a limited character and she's going to be very strong, there's a few signs you want to be aware of in terms of weakness. So let's have a look at her strength in comparison to weakness. Laevatain will be one of the #1 AoE damage dealers in the game. For the current patch, and maybe for 1 or 2 more patches to come, we're not sure. Likely for the current patch for sure. So #1 damage dealer, and she can clear all the content, all the in-game content. And she does do decent single target damage. Now of course, because a lot of her damage is in AoE form, her single target damage in comparison to Yvonne is not as high. So this is why the second limited kind of character is going to be Yvonne. So it's well designed in marketing. Laevatain is going to be a free-to-play fire team DPS, and the free-to-play fire team, as you saw earlier with Entel, Akakari, and also Wolfguard, is very easy to make and easily accessible to players. So you don't have to spend a lot for her supporting team. And at the same time, because of course she can clear all the current content and she can potentially get a stronger future fire supporting character as well. So her potential can be even stronger in the future. As a sword user, Laevatain can share her weapons with other characters, and if we briefly have a look what are the other sword users over here, one of the DPS characters we have is the End Administrator. So if both of them are using a more universal sword weapon for a 6-star or 5-star weapon, they can kind of share that weapon a little bit, but it's not the biggest deal. Now, one of the biggest concerns for Laevatain as a DPS role character versus a supporting character, so she's a DPS character, is that DPS characters in most gacha games tend to have the fastest power creep. Power creep is the common term used in gacha games, is that the strongest character now won't be as strong in a few patches. It is to be expected. And the concern is Laevatain as a DPS character, she might become outdated very fast. Well, exactly how fast? I would say in 1 or 2 patches, there may be a stronger fire character that might do single target damage. I don't think they'll try to replace her for AoE damage, so that is okay. And because she's not a supporting character, it's harder to kind of contest in the team position because you can have multiple supporting characters, but for DPS character, usually there's only one of them. And currently we do not have a lot of fire characters in the game on the launch of the game. So developers will be adding more fire characters compared to the physical characters, which will have a lot of 6 stars. This also means with more fire characters to come, the power creep is definitely a concern. So what's the takeaway? I'll still summon for Laevatain because I want to enjoy her as one of the best DPS and also clear out the content at least for patch 1.0. In the future, if new characters are coming, I'll keep you guys updated and will plan for that. In that sense, well, we don't have to worry about the power creep because it kind of comes in at least 50 days plus time. But if for those of you that want to plan for the future, then definitely consider this as well. So before we finish, Laevaitain's promotional materials are shown over here. It is much easier to promote her to promotional 3, and then promotional 4 is definitely one of the top priorities, because she is going to be the main DPS character and one of the strongest character on your team, or on everyone's team. Then it is worth it to invest your time and also effort in farming the final stage of promotion. So as to where to get those promotional materials, I have screenshotted the locations of you can be finding those materials, and each of the mushrooms that goes up in ranking, you can see this actually changes in the location between the hub and also the Jurien Valley and also the Wayne City. So you can have a look at the collection sites over here. Similarly, you can be farming those materials on those locations. The T credits is also rewarded to players during the launch of the game and also during a lot of events and also missions. So make sure you don't waste those credits, because what you're going to see is those credits will cost a lot. Initially, it's about 1,000, then 6,000, then 20,000, and then 200,000 credits. So it is a massive cost in T credits. So make sure you don't waste those. So all the information will be available should you use the document, and this is also available in the links below. So I'm doing this for myself as well, because I want to plan for Laevatain, so I want to give you guys a complete guide. If you guys have any tips and also advice on Laevatain, feel free to leave it in the comments below. And best of luck in Summon for Laevatain, guys. Now, if you guys haven't subscribed, this is a really good time to do so, because I'll be covering everything related to Arknights Endfields, relating to the builds, the characters, and also ways of getting promo codes and additional freebies, explorations related to the game. So make sure you subscribe for the latest update and also news related to the game, and also more updates for new patches to come in the future.